Now, Thapelo Ahmad of Jama-Ah is the new Johannesburg Mayor. Ahmad is the 7th city mayor since 2020. Yesterday, DA Mayor Mpho Phalatse was voted out in a motion of no confidence. Reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones is following developments in the council and joins me now. Pule, a number of questions asked by reporters in the press briefing after the sitting of the council where Jama-Ah candidate Thapelo Ahmad was voted in as the new executive mayor. We know that he's expected to be sworn in on Monday. Can you tell us what the overwhelming sentiment was in council chambers today?
There were a lot transpired during that media briefing today, but in fact we do now understand that the EFF and the ANC and other parties as well were one of the main reasons why we saw the Jama-Ah representative, of course, the Thapelo Ahmad, for the first time being elected as the mayor in the city of Johannesburg. But there's, of course, quite a lot of points that came out from that media briefing, which we just got out of shortly. One point, firstly, Ahmad has denied the fact that he's being used as a political tool or proxy, who is, of course, now who will be running the affairs of the city on behalf of the ANC or EFF. Two, he said that he will be prioritizing service delivery and ensuring that the city gets up to speed with fixing some of the challenges within the metro. Of course, speaking to the issues of potholes, street lights not working, the escalating crime, and of course other matters as well. And three, importantly, now we understand that the ANC and Ahmad, of course, will be working together with other parties who are outside the DA multi-party coalition to try and fast-track and get the Development Bank of South African loan approved. Now, you'd remember that previously the very same parties, the ANC and the EFF, of course, rejected the DBSA loan, which was in council, which was an idea which was brought by the DA. However, today it comes across as though they've taken a U-turn. They're saying that the city is in a dire financial state and that the DBSA loan will be a pivotal process which will fast-track the city's financial status, which will ensure that there's service delivery, amongst other issues which will be addressed as well. Quite, interesting coming from the ANC and the other parties as well. But of course, there was a lot of reaction we got from council after the mayor was elected. Let's just take a listen to what the council speaker, Colleen Makubele, had to say after Thapelo Ahmad was newly elected as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg.
We will, as this new administration, start with immediate effect with having discussions amongst the multi-party partners to discuss a comprehensive strategy of ensuring citizens becomes involved in what we do. We have to engage our communities through ward councillors and ward committees so that we are better able to respond to the need of our communities. Let us each other as servants of the people and not adversaries. Let us treat each other with dignity and respect. Let us listen to one another, hear from one another, and see one another. To my and our COJ community, your message is loud and clear, and every councillor in this chamber has heard you. We need to go back to local government basics.
And we're looking forward to what the new executive mayor is going to bring. My job as a speaker remains the same, to provide the oversight, keep him accountable, and ensure that the issues that we're crying about with the multi-party government are finally addressed. And that is the most important for us, that he needs to ensure that service delivery is prioritized, employment of our youth, our society is prioritized in terms of housing and the flooding areas and potholes. There's a lot of things that I think he needs to get his hands on as soon as possible. Power, energy crisis being one of them. You saw one of our substations during the council proceedings tripped, and those are the things that we can't afford to happen in this glorious city of Joburg.
Pule, we heard there both from incoming Mayor Thapelo Ahmad and Council Speaker Colleen Makubele. I want to ask you specifically about the question fielded by Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi on the fact that Thapelo Ahmad is said to be an interim leader for the city. Just take us through the answer there and what it means essentially for citizens of Joburg who very much want stability, and while the ANC is saying that they're aiming to provide stability, how much stability can an interim leadership provide?
Well, you're quite correct to ask that, Annelie, because the political chopping and changing, of course, does affect service delivery. But we do understand that the ANC in Gauteng is of the view that they need to stabilize their coalitions in the city of Ekurhuleni and in the city of Tshwane, Joburg as well. Now, you'd remember just on, if I stand to be correct, I think on Thursday, yesterday, in the city of Ekurhuleni, you'd remember that there was a motion of no confidence against the Speaker, Raymond Dlamini, and the Chief Whip, Khetha Shandu, which was brought by the Super 7. And what we're understanding right now is that, of course, the DA had refused to listen to the motions. And it comes across as though the EFF and the ANC are now particularly working together once again, because during the presser, Mr. Lesufi was of the view that they will be, trying to see if they can field in an EFF candidate when having to place him, the EFF, in the position of either the Speaker or the mayoral position. What we are seeing now as well, the ANC says this is an interim. Once they've sorted out the positionings in the Ekurhuleni, they will revert in the city of Joburg, discuss and see whether the ANC once again can be re-elected into that mayoral position, or if they keep Thapelo Ahmad representing Jama-Ah. From there onwards, they will now go to the city of Tshwane to strategize how they can unseat the DA-led multi-party coalition governments. Now, one would ask, doesn't the transitioning affect service delivery? Well, true. I mean, yesterday when we spoke to the city manager in Ekurhuleni, she did highlight that these kind of changes causes a delay in their administrations and, of course, within the processes of delivering services. I mean, you'd remember just a few days ago, the DA saying that they were in the process of fighting and, of course, ensuring that they can reduce the load shedding stages in the city of Johannesburg. Now, that has all come to a halt now that there's a new political party coming in a sense of Thapelo Ahmad being the newly elected mayor, representing Jama-Ah and other parties that voted him into power. So it'll be interesting to see how the dynamics do unfold in these key metros in Gauteng.